WikiLeaks has set its sights on a new enemy, the Syrian government. The anti-secrecy group has begun publishing more than 2.4 million emails from Syrian politicians, government ministries, and various companies dating back to 2006. The emails are in a range of languages, including Arabic and Russian. WikiLeaks claims they will shed light on the Syrian economy and the government's inner workings. The group also claims the emails will show how Western governments and companies said one thing and did another. Terror expert David Harris joins us now live from Ottawa. He's also the director of Insignis Strategic Research. Thanks for being with us, Dave.
Thanks, Karen.
WikiLeaks is calling the emails the Syria files, and they say that they're going to reveal how the West, this is what was interesting to me, the West and Western companies say one thing and they do another. What do you make of that?
Well, this is a classic preoccupation that we've seen in the past in former revelations about which Western companies, which Western governments might be involved in fairly intimate doings and goings-on with any number of highly undesirable regimes, including regimes that might even be under sanction or international boycott. It may help us to understand exactly what the dynamics are and who might be the players in the current situation, bearing in mind that some of these revelations will be a little dated, as you've mentioned.
Do you believe then that there's a possibility, David, that there are transactions and relationships between Syria and other countries, as we mentioned in the West, obviously beyond Russia, because we know there's a relationship there, that we don't actually know about?
I think it appears almost certain. That is the way of the world. After all, there can be a great deal of money involved in any kind of international trade, but even more formidable amounts when you're dealing with a regime that is quite suspect in and of itself. And so transaction costs can be all the greater, and so too can be the rewards. There seem to be some suggestions put out in the context of these revelations that, for example, there may be a company called Finmeccanica that may have some continuing interests with respect to the Syrian regime, and specifically with regard to some surveillance-related equipment, not least radios, and that would include radios that may involve coded transmissions and be of use to the Syrian police and military, the very arms of Syrian government that, of course, are sowing so much havoc, causing so much horror in Syria today.
Looking at the situation in Syria right now, there have been a series of defections of top-ranking officials in Assad's regime over the last couple of days. Would you say that he's finally losing grip at all?
A challenge to determine, of course, but the auguries are not particularly hopeful with regard to defections, but also assassinations of certain ranking Syrian officials, especially on the military side, and this, of course, can be a key issue. The latest word is that possibly a brigadier general, who may be the son of a former Syrian defense minister, may have defected to Turkey. And if this should be the case, the nature of the connections between that individual's family and the regime at large could be extensive, could provide useful insights to those in combat currently against the Assad regime.
David Harris, terror expert and director of Insignis Strategic Research. Always good to have your insight, David.
A pleasure, Karen.